Drishti IAS is pleased to revise its special program, Mastering Mains Answer Writing, targeting answer writing in Civil Services Mains Examination. We will be alternatively covering GS Papers 1, 2 and 3 through this program. For GS Paper 4, please watch our program, Ethics, Definitions and Concepts. The link for it is mentioned in the description below. So, what is the structure of the program? We begin by looking at a question, then link it with the syllabus and assess the weightage of the topic. We learn how to approach the question, followed by structuring the answer, writing the actual answer, and we conclude the episode by looking at questions asked in the previous year examinations. Let us see the question which we will be discussing today. Despite various efforts by the Government of India, the country is still facing the challenge of malnutrition. Examine the various issues involved in fighting the challenge of malnutrition and suggest suitable measures to strengthen India's efforts. The question can be linked to important aspects of social issues that is part of GS Paper 2. The weightage of the topic can be assessed from the graph displayed. Now, we learn how to approach the question. In general, there are two things we must understand with respect to a question. A, the underlying theme of the question, and B, what is or are being asked about that theme. Now, let us look at the question again. Despite various efforts by the Government of India, the country is still facing the challenge of malnutrition. Examine the various issues involved in fighting the challenge of malnutrition and suggest suitable measures to strengthen India's efforts. The underlying theme of this question is malnutrition in India. About this theme, we must discuss the malnutrition in India, its issues and challenges, and how it declined. The command word of this question, examine, requires looking closely and establishing the key facts and relevant issues surrounding a topic, providing reasons as to why the above facts and issues are important, and explaining the different ways in which they could be construed. Moving towards how to structure the answer. The first part of the answer will be introduction of the answer, which will include a brief description on malnutrition in India. The second part of the answer, that is the body, includes government initiatives to reduce malnutrition and how India is still lagging and what are the major challenges. Lastly, in our conclusion, we will suggest some measures regarding improving health and nutrition. Now we go ahead and write the actual answer. But before we commence, we would like to make it very clear that the answer provided here is a representative answer, that is, how the actual answer may look like. It can be adapted or modified as per your own natural style of writing, be it paragraph form or short sentences or bullets or diagrams. We have also taken certain liberties with the word limit by including certain additional information in the answer for your comprehensive understanding. So, without much ado, let us write. Malnutrition and its status. Malnutrition refers to deficiencies, excesses or imbalances in a person's intake of energy or nutrients. India's National Family Health Survey shows that there has been a decline in child malnutrition numbers in the country. However, various studies show that the rate of decline is very slow and India is still fighting a tough battle. The proportion of underweight and stunted children was as high as 35.8% and 38.4% respectively. As per the state of food security and nutrition in the world, there were 189.2 million undernourished people, 28% of the world, in India in 2017 and 19. It is a combined report of FAO, IFAD, UNICEF, WFP and WHO. In several districts of Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and even Gujarat, the proportion of underweight children was more than 40%. Now we focus on government initiatives to reduce malnutrition. Initiatives taken by the government. Integrated Child Development Scheme. It was aimed at providing food supplements to children from poor and marginalized sections. It bridges the gap between requirement and actual dietary intake. Another component of ICDS program was weighing children for early detection of growth faltering and undernutrition. National Nutrition Mission, also known as Poshan Abhiyan, strives to reduce the level of stunting, undernutrition, anemia, and low birth weight in children. It also focuses on adolescent girls, pregnant women, and lactating mothers, thus holistically addressing malnutrition. The Sustainable Development Goal number 2. It aims to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture, which is a priority area for India and which can offer key solutions for hunger and poverty eradication. It also tackles the issue of malnutrition and undernourishment in the country, how India is still lagging and what are the major challenges. Mother's health. More than half the women of childbearing age are anemic and 33% are undernourished according to NFHS 2006. A malnourished mother is more likely to give birth to malnourished children. Mother's education, particularly higher education, has the strongest inverse association with undernutrition. Women's education has a multiplier effect not only on household food security but also on the child's feeding practice and the sanitation facility. Social inequality. For example, girl children are more likely to be malnourished than boys and low caste children than upper caste children. Sanitation. WASH initiatives, that is, safe drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene, are critical for improving child nutritional outcomes. Most children in rural areas and urban slums still lack sanitation. This makes them vulnerable to diseases that prevent their bodies from making good use of nutrients in food and they become malnourished. Lack of diversified food. Food-based safety nets in India are biased in favor of staples, rice, and wheat. They need to provide a more diversified food basket, including coarse grains, millets, pulses, and biofortified staples. With the increase in diversity in food intake, malnutrition status declines. Lack of food security. Nearly 1/3 of adults in the country have a body mass index below normal just because they do not have enough food to eat. Access to prenatal and postnatal care. Access and utilization of prenatal and postnatal healthcare services also play a significant role in curbing undernutrition among children. Failure of government approaches. India already has 2 robust national programs addressing malnutrition, the ICDS and the National Health Mission, but these do not yet reach enough people. The delivery system is inadequate and plagued by inefficiency and corruption. Some analysts estimate that 40% of the subsidized food never reaches the intended recipients. Poverty. It results in inappropriate eating habits and thus the vicious cycle of malnutrition and further poverty starts. Shifting to the last part of our answer. The last part will also include measures needed to reduce malnutrition. Anganwadi system is the backbone of India's nutrition target effort and we really must improve it. Primary health infrastructure is not strong, so proper steps need to be taken in this regard. Farmers should be encouraged and incentivized for agricultural diversification. Innovative and low-cost farming technologies increase in irrigation coverage and enhance knowledge of farmers in areas such as appropriate use of land and water should be encouraged to improve the sustainability of food productivity. The government should improve policy support for improving agricultural produce of traditional crops in the country. The targeting efficiency of all food safety programs should be improved. especially that of the targeted public distribution system, to ensure that the poorest are included. Fortification, diversification, and supplementation may be used as simultaneous strategies to address micro and macronutrient deficiencies. Storage capacity should be improved to prevent post-harvest losses. There is a need for more robust measures that can take cognizance of all aspects of SDG 2. All the major welfare programs need to be gender sensitive. Improved efforts for sanitation and hygiene, and more awareness initiatives about various government schemes and programs. Despite various initiatives, malnutrition is still a major challenge before us, and specific efforts need to be aligned with existing programs to make them work effectively. To contribute towards the holistic nourishment of children and a malnutrition-free India by 2030, the government needs to address the multidimensional determinants of malnutrition on an urgent basis. And finally, we conclude this episode by looking at the questions asked in the previous year examination. In 2019, the following questions were asked. Despite consistent experience of high growth, India still goes with the lowest indicators of human development. Examine the issues that make balanced and inclusive development elusive. There is a growing divergence in the relationship between poverty and hunger in India. The shrinking of social expenditure by the government is forcing the poor to spend more on non-food essential items, squeezing their food budget. Elucidate. In 2018, the following question was asked. Appropriate local community level healthcare intervention is a prerequisite to achieve health for all in India. Explain. In 2016, the following question was asked. Professor Amartya Sen has advocated important reforms in the realms of primary education and primary healthcare. What are your suggestions to improve their status and performance? In 2015, the following question was asked. Public health system has limitations in providing universal health coverage. Do you think that the private sector could help in bridging the gap? What other viable alternatives would you suggest? In 2013, the following question was asked. Identify the Millennium Development Goals that are related to health. Discuss the issues of actions taken by the government for achieving the same. And with this, we conclude today's episode of Mastering Mains Answer Writing. Until next time, thank you and stay safe. To watch our videos in Hindi, subscribe to our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS.